Hello, Planet Poke people, it's me, DeoGenZ, welcoming you to another edition of Pokemon of the Week. This week, we are saying so long to winter with an abominable ally that will aid your team awesomely. It's Abomasnow, or humorously nicknamed Abomasnow. But this thing, it's a behemoth when it comes to launching blizzards. Similarly to how Groudon can set itself up for the perfect Solar Beam special attack sweep by having the ability Drought to set up the sun, Abomasnow does that, but in the form of snow, in the form of hail, which hurts your foes even more if they themselves don't have any ice types. What Snow Warning, this wonderful ability, does is it mixes up a hailstorm as soon as Abomasnow enters the field, and it's an everlasting hailstorm, so you don't have to worry about redistributing the hail, resetting it up. Of course, unless somebody switches up the weather effect to make it drizzle, to make it be sunny, then you'll have to switch Abomasnow out if you're planning to use the hail strategy. But when hail is on the field, it will allow for Blizzard to be launched with 100% accuracy. That's 120 base special attack damage dealt out in the form of ice to whoever your foe is. And now that's phenomenal, especially if you're trying to find a poke that's formidable at taking down dragons. This is your dude to check out. This thing being the special or physical lumbering tank that it is, it's not the quickest poke on the field, which is why when it comes to natures, you have a couple of options. Now, not included on there, but really it should be, especially for this Trick Room set, is the Quiet Nature, which will upgrade your special attack while diminishing your speed. It gives you a benefit both ways if you plan to use Trick Room, because, again, we're looking at a 60 speed base stat here, and once we start to get closer to the 50s range, once we launch out of 60s and 70s, and I know it's just base 60 right there, flat, but still, it won't be able to outrun most pokes. That's why it needs some sort of aid. Either you go with the maximization of speed and a timid nature, usually with a choice scarf attached, this way it will always get the jump on your foes, or you rework your strategy with the focus sash and have this thing be a slow lumbering fool that will be the swiftest thing on the field as soon as you bring in the Trick Room dimension. So it's up to you, it's up to your tactics, it's up to the pokes that you've already have established. If you want this Abomasnow to really be more self-sufficient, I would recommend the Choice Scarf and going with the advantageous speed nature being timid, but if you want pure power, then a special attacking modest nature is the way to go. Again, your item choice is mainly going to be dependent on what nature and strategy you decide to take with this Abomasnow, whether slow and steady Trick Room wins the race, or a quick jump to the finish will actually be the thing that clinches you victory. If you're going for the fast-paced, self-sufficient Abomasnow, include a Choice Scarf. It will lock you down to one move, but if that one move is Blizzard, a powerful base 120 damaging Ice-type stab move that does no recoil to Abomasnow, then you're in a good spot, especially if you're trying to take down a dragon. But don't be tricked yourself. If you switch Abomasnow out onto the field to take out someone's Dragonite or something of that nature, and the opponent sees this, of course, they're not going to not know the power of Abomasnow and its snow warning, whipping up hail. They're going to switch. So most likely they'll switch into something like it's one of 7 weaknesses, which is the most unfortunate thing about this Abomasnow, because of its dual typing, although it gives it 2 different stabs to choose from, whether that's Giga Drain to re-heal its health or Blizzard to knock foes out swiftly with Snow Warning, it unfortunately comes with the troublesome caveat of 7 weaknesses. 7 total weaknesses, of which it can handle most. It can take care of the flying, the rock, with Blizzard. If you decide to attach hidden power to this thing, you've got the ability to take out steel types, bug types, other grass types who may be trying to wall you, so that's a good consideration to include, especially on this set, which is a special sweeper. And the special thing about Abomasnow is that it has a 92 base for special attack and physical attack, so that it can really fall on either side of the coin, and we're going to take another look at that other physical offensive side of the coin shortly. But first, the moveset for the specials, you're going to need Blizzard. Blizzard is the optimal move to use here. It's the niche for this Pokemon since it has Snow Warning. Just like you want to include Solar Beam to Groudon because it could set itself up without even having to use a move, use a turn, just simply come out onto the field, the same can be said about Abomasnow and wanting to get Hail readily available with just entering the field so that Blizzdraga can destroy your foes within a couple of turns. Hidden Power Fire, as I mentioned before, gives you just a bit extra super effect ability in striking foes. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do anything much about the fighting or fire types that come onto the field, but if you feel threatened by them, then you can always switch out. Same goes for the poison types, because Hidden Power Fire, while super effective against Bug and Steel and Grass are what you have to worry about, especially if you're coming against a Pharaoh Seed, or rather a Pharaoh Thorn, you'll have to worry about ridding them of the field, and that's the most effective way to do it. Giga Drain to get health back, and Protect to stall out your foes in the hail, because unlike the sun, hail will actually do damage if that opponent is not an ice type itself. And on the additional side of the moves, if you're worried about your opponent switching up the weather, if you know your opponent to do a lot of sort of weather tactics, you may want to have Ice Beam instead of Blizzard, being a solid single striking move that will damage foes not as severely as Blizzard, but still effectively. Wood Hammer would be for more of the physical offensive set, Ice Shard and Shadow Ball, just some other options to consider. So while we're talking about physical attack, let's check out Set 2. Coming from concurrent contributor Badassxscrafy, he will suggest a physical offensive set for Abomasnow that, interestingly enough, takes advantage of remediating some of its defenses, which I was surprised to see. Whenever raising an Abomasnow, I would like to say there's no sense in focusing on its defenses, special or physical otherwise, because yes, it's a bulky Pokemon, but considering its abilities, considering the attacks that it can launch with Snow Warning, you want to take the utmost advantage of that exclusive niche. Therefore, you would rather a wall be something that has less weaknesses. That's the main gripe I have with this set here, is that it just has too many weaknesses for any effort value investment in defense to be sensible. It could not work that way. You can try it, and my hat's off to you if you've actually claimed victory with this set a few times. Over on the moveset side of things, everything looks good. I would just say, you know, the effort values I would change. I would make, instead of 252 defense, make it 252 speed, since with a choice band, you want this thing to be on its own, be as fast as possible, although it will be held back by that base 60 speed. By maxing it out and having a beneficial speed nature, something like Timid, then you'll be on top. Especially if you include Snow Warning, which, you know, there's no reason not to. The only other ability you could have with this poke is Soundproof, and since sound moves are not super effectively used that often, it's not something you need to consider. Same can be said with the Leftovers item. It's kind of like the effort values in defense, a little bit meaningless if you don't plan to do anything with it. You're not going to be building up stats with it unless you have Sword Stance on it, which he did include as one of the additional moves. So for Leftovers to be effective, again, it needs to be on some poke that has better staying power and less weaknesses. If Abomasnow didn't have so many weaknesses, it probably wouldn't be an issue. But Avalanche, important to note, if you want to do the physical offensive set sensibly, you need to raise this thing in the 4th gen. So either find one in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, which we'll be mentioning that game shortly, or go back to Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum and figure out where you can find this thing and raise it properly. And speaking of effort value training properly, did you know that I came out with episode 2 of my effort value expertise guide? That's right, it's available right now on youtube.com/DeoGenZ, and it will show you the way to raise a physical attacker. So if you want to try out set 2, that video is a good place to start. Remember to subscribe to Planet Poke, and I will see you in the future.